Traffic and more traffic in 6 minutes. Randy. Here's Randy Keefe.
Welcome to Mastering the Commute, your 6-minute traffic fix. Episode 11, Spring Break and Pedestrian Traffic, Navigating the Madness. Spring break is here, which means two things: packed highways and packed sidewalks. Whether you're heading to the beach, a theme park, or just trying to get through a city like New York, you're going to be dealing with more pedestrians than usual. And here's the thing: pedestrian traffic is just as unpredictable as car traffic. Maybe even more so, because there are no real rules. So today, we're covering both sides of the equation. As a driver, how do you avoid hitting a pedestrian who isn't paying attention? And as a pedestrian, how do you move through a crowd without becoming part of the problem? I've seen the chaos firsthand, from navigating the Las Vegas Strip at night to dodging tourists in Times Square. And I promise you, whether you're walking or driving, knowing these tips will help you get where you're going faster and safer. When people are walking in large crowds, they don't follow rules like cars do. They stop randomly, walk into the street without looking, and take up entire sidewalks without thinking about who's behind them. As a driver, this makes parking lots, beaches, and city centers some of the most dangerous places to drive. Here's where you need to be extra cautious. Beach towns and spring break destinations. Florida, California, and Texas see a huge spike in pedestrian traffic, especially near bars and beaches. Drunk pedestrians equals unpredictable pedestrians. Theme parks and tourist areas. People aren't looking for cars. They're looking for their next ride or attraction. Disney, Universal, and other major parks have crosswalks, but most people just walk wherever they feel like. Major cities like New York, Vegas, London, some cities have dedicated pedestrian plazas or walkways, but even in places with crosswalks, pedestrians jaywalk constantly. If you've ever driven in Manhattan, you know what I mean. Stadiums, concerts, and large events. After a football game, a concert, or any mass gathering, parking lots become a free-for-all. People walk between moving cars without looking, and drivers are frustrated trying to get out. Plus, there's a lot of alcohol in the mix at the end of the games. How to drive safely around pedestrians. Expect the unexpected. If there's a big crowd, assume someone will step into traffic without looking. Make sure you slow down early. Don't wait until the last second to brake in a pedestrian-heavy area. And watch for kids and strollers. They're lower to the ground and harder to see, especially between parked cars. Be extra careful at night. Pedestrians assume they're visible, but most wear dark clothing and blend into the background. One of the scariest moments I ever had as a pedestrian was in Las Vegas. The Strip is designed for walking, but the second you step off a curb, it's a different world. I was on a family trip in high school. My parents and I were crossing the Strip in front of the Treasure Island Resort. Way back in the late 90s, you could actually cross the street, as someone tried to do, right as a vehicle moved right in front of him and ran him over at a very painfully slow speed. The driver simply didn't see the pedestrian because they were both distracted by the show at Treasure Island with the volcano. And it was very disheartening to see the story in the newspaper the next day with the headline, "Pedestrian Fatality." Not too many years later, pedestrian bridges started being built all up and down the Strip, not surprisingly, and today, pretty much every intersection on the Las Vegas Strip has these crosswalks where you must go over the bridge either on stairs, escalator, or elevator. And it was all because of these high fatality statistics before they built these bridges. The chaos of pedestrian traffic. Now let's switch gears. What happens when you're the pedestrian? I actually wanted to devote a longer segment to each event in this episode, maybe a long-form video to this topic, because I can apply all 10 existing episodes' content like Phantom Jams and use it to attempt to explain how people move without their cars. If you've ever tried to walk through Times Square, a theme park, or a parking lot after a sold-out concert, you know how frustrating being a pedestrian can be. It moves in waves, though, just like car traffic, but without any rules. Here's why pedestrian traffic is so unpredictable. There are no lanes, so no flow. Unlike roads, sidewalks and open spaces don't have lanes. People move in all directions, stop randomly, and block paths without realizing it. There are distractions everywhere. Phones, signs, and attractions, not to mention other family members, keep people from paying attention to where they're walking. Different walking speeds. Some people troll, some people power walk, others stop entirely, and others are in scooters that go however fast they want to and wherever they want to. This creates bottlenecks, just like slow drivers in the left lane. Here's how to move through crowds faster. Walk like you drive. Predictably, move in a straight line as much as possible. Don't stop suddenly, and be aware of people around you. Use gaps efficiently. Just like merging in traffic, if you see an opening, take it smoothly. Avoid getting boxed in. If you're moving with a large group, stick to the edges so you can break away if needed. And know when to wait. Instead of weaving aggressively, sometimes it's faster to pause and let the flow change. Theme parks. They are the worst places for pedestrian traffic. There's always someone stopping to take a picture, or a group that suddenly decides to turn around in the middle of the sidewalk or in the middle of the walkway. It's like trying to walk through a moving obstacle course. If you don't time it right, you'll be standing still while everyone else moves around you. Spring break might be fun, but it's also one of the most chaotic times on the road and on foot. Whether you're driving through a packed beach town or navigating a theme park, pay attention and move predictably. Drivers, expect pedestrians to be unpredictable. Slow down early and give people space. Pedestrians, walk like you drive. Don't stop in the middle of the flow. Be aware of your surroundings and time your movements wisely. Now, spring break crowds might be chaotic, but whether you're on foot or behind the wheel, the key to navigating them is awareness. Watch your surroundings, anticipate movement, and most importantly, be predictable. Now, speaking of predictability, one of the simplest ways to keep traffic flowing and be predictable is cruise control. It's not just for road trips anymore. I use it anytime I'm on a road over 30 miles an hour, and it helps me get nearly 38 miles per gallon in my subcompact vehicle. But with newer cars featuring adaptive cruise control, is it better than traditional cruise control? And what's the best way to use it? In the next episode, we're breaking down how cruise control can make you a smoother, safer driver. Until then, check out my traffic resources page at drivesmarternow.com, or in theme with today's episode, check out my new video, Exiting the Universal Orlando Parking Lot, and other videos and shorts on my YouTube page at Mastering the Commute. Please subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode if you found it useful. See you next week.